Good morning, everyone. So for today, we are going to tackle about the basic Java programming. I'm your presenter for this day, Renato Emberquilla. This topic covers the following: the Java environment, identifiers, reserved words, the main method, saving, compiling, and debugging, the syntax errors, executing and debugging logical errors, comments, import statement, NetBeans, IDE demo. The Java environment. First, let us have what is Java. It is a high-level programming language that was developed by Sun Microsystems for general purpose business applications and interactive web-based internet applications. Java can be used to write programs that run on any operating system or device. Next, we have the Java Virtual Machine, or the JVM. It's an environment that translates Java bytecode, which are compiled format for Java programs, into machine language and executes it. The source code are the programming statements written in a high-level language. This is created using a text editor or a development environment. The development environment is a set of tools that help write programs easily, such as NetBeans. The statements are saved in a file. The Java compiler converts the source code into a binary program of bytecode. The Java interpreter then checks the bytecode and communicates with the operating system, executing the bytecode instructions, the line within the Java virtual machine. Two types of program in Java. You have the application and the applet. For the application, this is a standalone program. It can either be a console application, supports character, output to a computer screen in a DOS window. A windowed application creates a GUI, or the graphical user interface, with elements such as menus, buttons, dialog boxes, etc. The applet. It is a program embedded in a web page. It runs in a browser. Here is the example console and windowed application. Let's take a look at a simple Java program. The first Java program is the class name. A class is the basic unit of a Java program. All Java codes are grouped into class. The definition of the class starts with the access modifier, such as public, which specifies the accessibility of classes, followed by the keyword class. Every class definition is enclosed within a pair of curly brackets or braces. These braces mark the beginning and the end of the class. The main method is a special method and is the entry point of the program execution. A Java class can only have one main method. In the example, the Java program contains one programming statement or command, the system.out.println, enclosed with a parenthesis and double quotation mark is first Java application. A statement is an action that the program has to perform. A literal string is a series of characters that appear as exactly as entered. Any literal string in Java appears between double quotation marks. Arguments are information passed to a method so it can perform its task. Let's take identifiers. So an identifier is a name of a program component, such as a class, object, and variable. These are the requirements in naming identifiers. It must begin with a letter of the English alphabet, an underscore, or a dollar sign. An identifier cannot begin with a digit. Identifiers name can only have any combination of letters, digits, underscores, or dollar sign. White spaces are not allowed. It cannot be a reserved keyword. Identifiers are case sensitive. For example, the identifier capital letters NUMBER or number is not the same as the identifier which has a small letters. It cannot be one of the following values. We have true, false, or null. Because these are not keywords, they are primitive values. They are reserved and cannot be used. When naming class identifiers, it is good practice to begin with the name with a capital letter. The reserved words. Reserved words are also known as keywords that have predefined meaning in the programming language. The invalid use of reserved words are public class abstract. Reserved words in Java. The reserved words or keywords have special predefined meaning and cannot be used in naming variable classes, methods, or identifiers. The Java language designates certain keywords that the compiler recognizes as reserved words. The following table lists all the reserved words in Java. The main method is a special method in every Java application. When executing a Java program, execution always begins with the method main. All Java applications must include class containing one main method, defining the main method in any class. Public static void main. The basic parts of the main method are the heading and the body. The public keywords is an access modifier. The method heading should be public for the Java interpreter to call it and to run the class. The static keyword means that a method is accessible and usable. Void keyword indicate that the main, when executing a Java application, the JVM always execute the main method first. The contents between the parentheses of the main method, which is a string args, represent the type of argument that can be passed to the main method. The requirements in Java development. So what are the tools required in developing a Java program? We have the Java Development Kit, include a complete set of JRE or the Java Runtime Environment tools for developing, debugging, and monitoring Java applications. JDK is needed to install the computer to write, compile, and execute Java programs. Java Runtime Environment covers most end users' needs. It contains everything required to run Java applications on a system. Saving and compiling a Java program. The following are the steps on how to create, compile, and execute Java application using a DOS window. Step 1, write a Java program in the text editor, such as the Notepad or Notepad++. Step 2, save the program as the same with the class name of the program with extension .java. Step 3, open the DOS window or the CMD of the command window, then change the directory to the directory where the Java file was saved. Step 4, set the path of JDK using the path command. This setting tells the operating system where to find the Java compiler and the classes. Setting the path of the JDK is defined as path equals %path semicolon, then the JDK bin directory. Step 5, compile the Java program using Java C command. Java C, the name of the Java file with the extension .java. Step 6, execute the compiled Java program using the Java command interpreter. Java, then the name of the Java file. The figure shows how to set JDK path, compile and execute a program in a DOS window. Debugging syntax errors. Syntax errors are invalid statements that the Java compiler might encounter. In the process of compiling, when the compiler encounters a syntax error, it produces one or more error messages. To debug this error, the programmer must locate and correct the grammatical mistake in the program. For example, the compiler produces an error message of a missing semicolon in a statement. To correct this, the programmer must add the semicolon to the statement. What caused the error? If the Java compiler successfully compiled a Java program and no syntax errors are encountered, the program is ready to execute. But if the program produces an error that is called a logical error as shown in the figure, the class name is different from the source code in the console window which has compiled. Another example of logical error which shows that the class name is typographically incorrect, that contains a period or a dot in the middle. Another one, as shown in the code, the class keyword begins with a capital letter C. It should be small letter c. On the fifth line, the keyword system should take a capital letter S, not the small letter s. The main method on the third line should have a small letter m, as shown in our example source code. Another example, a program that adds two numbers, but the output was multiplied. Logical errors are errors that are difficult to find and resolve because the interpreter Java does not produce an error message. This type of errors must locate and debug by the programmer. As given in the source code, we must also follow the rules in writing the arithmetic expressions. We must use grouping symbols in order to get the correct output or answer on line number 5. The open parentheses and closed parentheses should be placed before and after 85 plus 85 before dividing by 2 statement. Comments are used to explain the details in a program. These notes that a programmer writes to a program helps another person to understand the program. Comments are ignored by the compiler, meaning they are not executed when the Java program ran. Java has two common types of comments. Single-line comments. These are comments that begin with two factors slash and then place anywhere in the line. Multiple line comments. These are enclosed between forward slash and asterisk, and asterisk and a forward slash, as shown in the example. What can be comments? Inserting a comment gives us programmer the idea of the program will execute as shown in the sample source code. The comments are compute average and print average. Packages. These are collections of related classes that have grouped together into a folder. The name of the folder is the name of the package and begins with lowercase letters. The classes in the package are each placed in a separate file, and a file name begins with the name of the class. In the sample program, it has compile error because we need to include the package that will implement the date method. The import statement. Import, this is a reserved keyword in Java used to access the classes in a package. There are two common ways on how to use the import statement. Importing a package member to import specific class into the current file. Follow the syntax. Import the package name dot class name. Example, import java.util.date. Importing an entire package. To import all classes contained in a particular package, use the import statement with the asterisk, or also known as wildcard characters. Import package name dot asterisk. Example, import java.util dot asterisk semicolon. When importing packages, all the import statement must appear before the class declaration. The table shows the commonly used built-in package, which we can use as we create a program in Java. Before writing our first program using an IDE, or the Integrated Development Environment, we will need the Java Standard Edition Development Kit. The JDK7 has been selected in this example. For Microsoft Windows, Solaris OS, and Linux, Java SE downloads index page for Mac OS. Developer.apple.com. The NetBeans IDE for all platforms. NetBeans IDE downloads index page. Creating our first application. Your first application, Hello World app, will simply display the greeting Hello World. To create the program, do the following procedures on the next slides. Create an IDE project. When you create an IDE project, you create an environment in which to build and run your application. Using IDE projects, eliminate configuration issues normally associated with developing on the command line. You can run your application by choosing a single menu. Next, add code to the generated source file. A source file contains code written in the Java programming language that you and other programmers can understand. As part of creating an IDE project, a skeleton source file will automatically generate it. You will then modify the source file to add the hello world message. Compile the source file into a class file. The IDE invokes the Java programming language compiler, or Java-C, which takes your source file and translate it into text, into instructions that the Java virtual machine can understand. The instructions contained within this file are known as bytecodes. Run the program. The IDE invokes the Java Application Launcher tool, or Java, which uses the Java virtual machine to run your application. Create an IDE project. So to create an IDE project, launch the NetBeans IDE. On Microsoft Windows system, you can use the NetBeans IDE item in the Start menu. On Solaris OS and Linux systems, you execute the IDE launcher script by navigating to the IDE's bin directory and typing /NetBeans. On Mac OS X systems, click the NetBeans IDE application. In the NetBeans IDE, choose File, New Project, as shown on the figure we have. In the new project wizard, expands the Java category and select Java application as shown in the following figure. Next, in the name and location page of the wizard to the following as shown in the figure. In the project name field type Hello World app. In the create main class field type Hello World app. That Hello World app. 5. Click finish. The project is created and opened in the IDE. You should see the following components. The project window, which contains a 3D view of the components of the project, including source files, libraries that your code depends on, and so on. The source editor window with a file called hello world.app opens. The navigator window, which you can use to quickly navigate between elements within the selected class. As shown here, this is the NetBeans IDE with the Hello World app project open. Add code to the generated source file. When you create this project, you left the create main class checkbox selected in the new project wizard. The IDE has therefore created a skeleton class for you. You can add the hello world message to the skeleton code by replacing the line, which contains to-do code application logic here, with the line system.out.println, open parentheses, double quotation mark, hello world, and double quotation mark, and a close parenthesis and semicolon. This will display the string. Optionally, you can replace these 4 lines of generated code. These 4 lines are a code comment and do not affect how the program runs. Later section of this tutorial explain the use of format of code comments. Save your changes by choosing File, Save. The file should look something like the following. Compile the source file into a .class file. To compile your source file, choose Run, Build Project, Hello World app from the IDE's main menu. The output window opens and displays output similar to what you see in the figure on the next slide. If the build output concludes with the statement build successful, congratulations, you have successfully compiled your program. If the build output concludes with the statement build failed, you probably have a syntax error in your code. Errors are reported in the output window as hyperlink text. You double-click such a hyperlink to navigate to the source of an error. You can then fix the error and once again choose Run, Build Project. When you build the project, the bytecode file hello world app.class is generated. You can see where the new file is generated by opening the Files window and expanding the hello world app build/classes/hello world app node as shown in the figure on the next slide. Run the program. From the IDE's menu bar, choose Run, Run Main Project. The figure shows what you should now see. The program prints Hello World to the output window, along with the output from the build script. Thank you for watching my presentation. Enjoy programming with Java. So we have here the symbol of Java, which is a cup of coffee, and Duke, which is the mascot for Java. So the references are www.cs.iit.edu and docs.oracle.com in Java. So again, good morning. Thank you. This is Renato M. Barquilla.